Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on New Zealand Sports Radio. Hi, I'm Paul and I'll be your host here on Tuesday, the 30th of March. In the news today, we've got cricket news with tours happening here in New Zealand, as well as a test match over there in the West Indies. News from the NRL as well, as the Broncos need to relocate. In rugby, we've got news about a women's Super Rugby game, as well as Leon Squire, unfortunately, out for the season injured. We'll look at the NBA and the NBL results over there in the basketball, as well as round up where the golf finished for the PGA and the LPGA tournaments of the weekend. This is your best way to start the day up to speed with all of the important sports news. And let's go over to that golf straight away. And on the PGA Tour, we had the Putakana Championships, or the Putakana Champ, which was won by the American Darman at 12 under par, one shot ahead of the chasing pack. We had a Kiwi in there, Tim Wilkinson, faded, unfortunately, in the fourth round to finish 2 under par in tied 34th place. Next up is the Valero Texas Open ahead of the US Masters, the first major of the season. Over in the LPGA, it was the Kia Classic, and Park won that one at 14 under par, 5 shots clear of the closest chasers, Park from South Korea. Lydia Ko was in action in this one, and she finished tied 26th. Never really managed to make up the ground that she lost on the opening day, but a disappointing result for her after some good results earlier this season in the previous tournaments. Next up for her will probably be the AXA Inspiration, on which maybe she might not be thinking about the AXA Inspiration, which starts on the 1st of April. That's the next tournament for the LPGA. Moving on then on to basketball, and in the NBA, just 4 games yesterday. Yes, a quiet one by NBA standards. The Suns beat the Hornets 101 to 97. The Trailblazers beat the Raptors 122 to 117. The Nuggets beat the Hawks 126-102, and the Lakers beat the Magic 96 to 93. They had been on a losing streak with LeBron James out of action, injured, and he still is, but the team managed to get the win without him against the Magic there. What does that mean for the table? Well, the 76ers ahead of the Nets and the Bucks still in the Eastern Conference. Over on the Western side, that win by the Suns means that they're closing the gap on the Jazz at the top, ahead of the Clippers, and the Lakers now on a 2-game winning streak after that losing streak when they lost LeBron. Today, a further 11 games in action, including the Pelicans will be taking on the Celtics, and that's at midday to 12:30 today if you want to watch that one. Back to over to Australia for the NBL. And just one game yesterday between the Hawks and the Bullets. This one finished 96 to 72, so a comfortable win there for the Hawks. Well, actually, in that one, they led from the start and won every single quarter. So a dominant performance by the Hawks. That sees the Hawks in 3rd place in that one. Chasing Melbourne United and the Wildcats, who are top of the table. Next game there isn't until Thursday, when the Hawks will be back in action against the Kings, and also the Breakers will be taking on the Wildcats in that one. With the Wildcats top of the table, that's going to be a tough ask for the Breakers on Thursday. Over in NRL, and no results because of midweek, but because of COVID lockdown in Brisbane, the Broncos have relocated to Sydney, and they will be there until round 5 apparently. So we'll see how that goes. They picked up the win last weekend, and let's be on what has been a tough time for them. Will this disrupt them, or will this bring them together? They're up against the Storm this Friday, which will be a tough ask for them. But yeah, Broncos, they're having to live on the road. In rugby news, and Liam Squire has succumbed to injury and will be out for the rest of the season as expected. It's a recurring knee injury that's flared up, and after he'd had surgery on it last year. There is no time frame for him to return, unfortunately, so it looks like he's out for the rest of the Super Rugby Aotearoa season. If it fixes itself, then he will be back for the Mitre 10 Cup. He says that his All Black dreams are not over. Also, then we've had the announcement that the game between the Blues and the Chiefs at Eden Park will become a double header, with a women's Super Rugby game ahead of the men's action. The fantastic news, and something that people have been calling for a while now, is for women's Super Rugby teams. And the Chiefs and the Blues have taken the jump and will be the first to do so. So a great start by the for the women's game. Let's hope that it quickly expands out so that all of the franchises have a women's Super Rugby team. We have a full schedule for them as well. Moving on then to the cricket, and there is live action currently between the West Indies and Sri Lanka, in the second Test match. Sri Lanka really made good inroads and had the West Indies in trouble at 2 for 15 as Lakmal took the first two of his three wickets there. A rebuilding effort between Braithwaite and Myers, as Myers scored 49, helped things. Jermaine Blackwood didn't stick around for very long, and currently Braithwaite is still there at 51 not out with Jason Holder, as the West Indies reached 140 for 4. The game in the balance, or the first innings there in the balance currently. So Lakmal took 3, and Fernando has taken the other wicket for Sri Lanka. In one-day action and also T20 action, we'll have the New Zealand versus Bangladesh and New Zealand women versus Australia women today in Napier. And don't worry, they have a solution for the sunstrike that has been plaguing that location. They have bought themselves an $8,000 portable shade sail that will be hung by a crane, and they're using an app to predict where the sun will be, and that will be put up before the game. So the portable crane there holding that sail should hopefully stop the sunstrike happening in that game. So we shouldn't have what happened against India, where there was a 40-minute break, or a near 40-minute break during that one-day international. So good move there by the council down in Napier. You have now started the day the best way to all the important sports news. I'll be back here at 8 p.m. this evening with the Driving Maul Show, where we'll talk more about the Women's Super Rugby action. Also, look at probably have to chat about the private equity investment into New Zealand Rugby as well. Also, the Wallabies have named their training squad. So Dave Rennie's named his first squad there over in Australia. So lots for us to talk about at 8 p.m. this evening for the Driving Maul Show. Do join us for that. I'll be back here tomorrow morning with the morning sports briefing at 7 a.m.